everyone and welcome back to my channel. I hope you are all well. My name is Steph. Thank you for joining us today. I thought I'd just really sit here today and honestly talk about my kind of journey over a year now since I last had a drink and kind of being sober curious and becoming teetotal. So let's begin. I have a load of questions. I did a question box on my Instagram just asking what people wanted to see or any questions they had regarding this topic, and there was a lot, and I've tried to group them together and I'll try and fire through them as quickly and as honestly as possible. Why did you decide to stop drinking? So I actually have an entire video about this that I will link in the description box. Do I have two? Or do I have one? I think I have two videos, and it was last May or June that I decided to first go teetotal, and it was for a mixture of reasons. One, because I was getting a lot of anxiety, you know, when you get hungover and you have that kind of looming anxiety and that heart rate feeling and it's not nice the next morning. I was going out a lot, partying a lot, having a lot of late nights, and getting really bad stomach problems from all the alcohol, and also I had someone very, very close to me who was battling with an alcohol issue. And I kind of wanted to show them that nights out and having a good time is possible without the alcohol. And it also meant if ever I went out with them one-on-one, I wouldn't be like, oh, should we get a bottle of wine? Which I probably wouldn't have done anyway, but it was just easier to be like, oh, I don't drink, so then they wouldn't either. And that was kind of my main reasons. How did you start cutting it out? I'm gonna be honest, I just decided I was doing it and just cut it out. Just on nights out and stuff, I'd have a coffee before I went out to make sure that I wasn't asleep, and I'd just drink pineapple juice or water the whole night and felt amazing for it, so I kind of just didn't really look back. Do you think it is possible to cut it out, to cut it down but not be teetotal? Oh my god, 100%. I think from an outsider's perspective, I just look very extreme in terms of being plant-based with my diet, rather than just reducing my meat consumption, and being completely teetotal with my alcohol. And I realised quite early on that the part of the cocktail that I actually liked was the sweet, juicy flavour and the way it looked all pretty and stuff, which you can get with a mocktail anyway. So for me, it's not that I actually ever enjoyed drinking. It was just kind of, that's what my friends did, so that's what I did. So I do think it is possible to cut it down and reduce it, 100%. You don't have to completely go teetotal, and I really hope this video doesn't come across as preachy or as if I'm telling everyone to join me in this like sober cult. Do you ever feel like a celebratory drink occasionally? I actually don't. I think it goes back to me not actually enjoying alcohol, and if ever my friends are doing shots or anything like that, they're so good at being like, oh, can we get a shot of water as well, so I don't get that FOMO feeling, and you can still cheers with an appetizer rather than a champagne. Like sometimes if we're out for food and all my friends are ordering Prosecco, I'll ask for a lemonade and a champagne glass. Like you can still blag it as alcohol without drinking, and still not feel left out. I think it is possible to do that. And my mum told me from a young age, like I didn't like getting drunk all the time. So she used to say, why don't you have a gin and tonic and then just a tonic or just a lemonade? No one will know, and it will keep you going without getting completely shit-faced or plastered. And I was like, Sue's a genius. Do you still get cravings? Sometimes when I see people get to that kind of giggly, tipsy stage where everything is funny, I'm a bit like, oh, I miss that side of drinking. But I feel like now I'm so used to not being drunk or having alcohol in my system that I can be that giggly person without the alcohol, if that makes sense. So that's probably the only craving I get. Or maybe a glass of red wine with a Sunday roast or something in the winter. They were only the only times I really drank. How to deal with alcoholic gifts? I've not really been in that position. I've got a lot of alcohol left over from presents past, but I'll let my family drink that. I think everyone now knows that I am sober or teetotal, and they buy me like a bottle of fizzy, unalcoholic wine and stuff like that, which is really nice. Thoughts on being 99% teetotal and having the occasional drink? Back to what I said, like you don't have to label yourself as anything. I say it the same with being vegan or plant-based. You don't have to label yourself with such a strict label. You can just reduce and set your own boundaries without having to declare it to the world. I only do because I'm really passionate about these topics, and if I can share and speak about it on my platform and my channel to hopefully inspire someone to do the same or to reduce a little bit more, then that's bloody great. But yeah, you don't need to label yourself, and you can definitely enjoy the occasional drink without being completely sober or strict and things like that. What are the best drinks? So it does kind of go hand in hand with being like vegan and plant-based, because 2 years ago there was no substitutes, or like very rare substitutes for things like meat substitutes and stuff like that. Same with alcohol, whereas now there are so many alcohol-free gins, alcohol-free Proseccos and everything like that, that you're spoilt for choice. There's one from, I think it's M&S or Waitrose, that's called like Frizzero, and it's like sparkling rosé wine but unalcoholic, which is delicious. It's like sparkling juice. And then Seedlip or Ceders unalcoholic gin is so nice, because it has that kind of what's it called? What's the berry? Juniper kind of flavour, and you can mix it with a tonic or anything like that, and it's delicious, and you can still kind of have that feeling of having a cocktail at home. But if I'm on a night out, I just stick to water, or if they've got pineapple juice or cranberry juice, because they're my favourites. That's kind of what I go for. La la la. Did you see any physical changes? I'm gonna be honest, I didn't really do it for the physical changes. I wasn't doing it from like a weight loss perspective, or I don't know what other physical changes you'd see, but I did notice a change in my stomach, because obviously when you have alcohol, that you're cleaning out all of your natural microbiome in your gut. So I noticed a difference in my digestion, but I don't think that was like physical or visible. It was just kind of a me feeling, which helped with a lot with my tummy problems that I was having. What were the main benefits you felt? I love the smug feeling the next day when all of my friends are dying in bed, hungover, and I can just get up and get on with my day and just carry on as normal. I think there's a quote, I don't want to get it wrong, but it's something like, drinking alcohol steals your tomorrow, or something, or getting drunk steals your tomorrow. I can't really remember the quote, but it is so true. Like, if you have a really heavy night, it's great on the night, but then it can last for like 2-3 days after until you start to feel normal again. So I'd say that's my kind of favourite thing. How have you found it's affected your friendships and relationships and romantically? So I did want to touch on this because I feel like I've been in a position to do this because I'm in a relationship, because I live at home, I'm not at uni or anything like that. And a lot of my kind of dating days, I needed a little drink for confidence, or I thought I needed a little drink for confidence. Whereas now, if I go out with my friends, they love that I offer to drive, which saves us money on Ubers and taxis, and bless them, they always offer petrol money. Like, they're so great about it. And I don't need alcohol to be like fun with them. Like, I'll still be on the same level as them, and I feel like almost them being drunk brings out that side of me anyway. And I feel like I can deal with drunk people. They don't really annoy me, because I'm just like, they're having a good time, and I can see that. Obviously it gets to the point in the night where I'm like, okay, I need to go home. But I don't think it's affected my friendships or my relationships. I mean, Lou often says to me he misses when we could share a bottle of red and enjoy that together. But other than that, I don't think it has affected them negatively at all. What do you say when people ask why you don't drink? I'm just honest. I'm just like, oh, I don't really enjoy it, don't really like the taste, don't like the way it makes me feel. I try not to be too specific, because sometimes it can make them kind of get their back up, like, oh, well, she's better than me kind of thing, and I never want it to come across like that. So I just say, oh, I'm just trying it out and seeing how I get on. And 9 times out of 10, people don't pry too much. Do you find that people judge? Yes, and I think it's because sometimes they feel like you're challenging them, because obviously society teaches us that you go out, you get smashed, you have a drink with dinner, all of that kind of stuff, and that's what some people like. So me saying that I don't drink is almost challenging something that they really enjoy. So there's a lot of the time people judge, or they expect me to be boring. Like, on paper, a vegan teetotal person that's into health and wellness, like, I sound like such a boring person, so of course people are going to judge me for that. But I try not to let it bother me, and I make sure that everything I say is always in a kind of throwaway way, so that it never feels like I'm challenging someone. How to deal with social pressures. Now, I think I'm in a very fortunate position where I don't have anyone in my life that would pressure me into something to the point where they judge me or make me feel bad. And if they do, I feel like I'm strong enough to now to be like, you worry about your life and I'll worry about mine. So obviously there are a lot of social pressures to go out and get smashed, but I think, not that I've needed to, but I've almost proved to my friends that I'm still a laugh. I don't need the alcohol, I'll drive you home, save you money on an Uber, and I kind of just shove it off. I think you've just got to be strong in implementing those boundaries. I can understand why it would be harder for someone younger or for someone at uni, because so many social activities are surrounded by alcohol, but you can still play drinking games with a pineapple juice. You can, like, sometimes my forfeit is to do press-ups because I'm terrible at press-ups. Like, find a fun way to still be involved, but without the alcohol. Does not drinking affect date nights? Kind of goes back to what I said before. Lou's not a huge drinker unless he's with the boys and we're all out together, or if he just goes out with the boys on his own. So he doesn't really mind. He will have a glass of wine and then I'll have like a sparkling drink in a champagne glass or something. But I don't think it's affected that either. Did you find it hard to let your hair down on nights out? I'm gonna be honest, no, because I think I'm just that kind of person. I think I love embarrassing myself and making a tit out of myself and being like the class clown I always have. And almost when my friends are getting drunk, you kind of do feel that energy. How do you keep up with everyone else? So I can't lie, I do get tired around the kind of 12 AM mark. So I'm very hypersensitive to coffee, so I have to have one in the morning, can't have it after 12 PM, otherwise I'll be awake all night. So I'll have a coffee at like 5 or 6, and honestly, that will keep me going till the morning. If it's gonna be a big night, I don't promote this, but there's been a couple occasions where I've had a Red Bull. One, because I love the taste of Red Bull, and two, it does keep me awake longer. I'm not a fizzy drink person, really, only in like a celebratory environment or out for a meal or something like that. So if I feel like I want one and it's gonna be a big night, maybe I'll have a Red Bull. Don't judge me. Do your friends go to bottomless brunches without you? I'm gonna be honest, I don't think I've ever been to a bottomless brunch, and I know they're so popular and they're quite expensive if you're not drinking, because obviously you pay for all of the booze and the food and stuff. So I'm not really sure how that would work, so I can't really comment on that, other than the fact that, yeah, I've never really done it. So if that's what all your friends are into, then I can kind of understand why that would be difficult. To kind of not drink as much, because you want to feel like you're getting your money's worth, don't you? It's like when you go to an all-you-can-eat buffet, you really want to get that money's worth. So yeah, I totally get why that would be frustrating. How do I date? I'm vegan and I don't drink. Okay, so how I see dating, for me, I wasn't really a casual dater. Like, yes, I'd like to go on the odd date, but it was more so like, I'm the kind of person that likes human connection and developing long-lasting connections with people, be it friends or romantically or whatever. So when I was dating, I was going from the perspective of wanting to spend a long time with this person that I was going on a date with. I wouldn't really date more than like one or two people at the same time. And I feel like if you're vegan and you don't drink, then be honest from the get-go, because that will be a telltale sign from the beginning. And I think it will say a lot about that person, and it might sway your decision towards being with them long term. Like on my first date with Lewis, I told him that I was vegan. He suggested going to like an extremely vegan friendly restaurant. So yeah, I don't think it's an issue. And if they have a problem, then they're not the right person anyway. I stand by the fact that you should always be honest and open from the get-go. Have you replaced alcohol with snacks? So someone said they get really hungry after a night out, but to be honest, I got hungry when I was drinking anyway. So I have a lot more juices, like cranberries and pineapple juices on a night out than I probably would have done before. But again, I was having like cocktails and stuff when I was drinking alcohol. And then I do like the feeling of coming home after a night out with all of your mates and then you all order a takeaway and things like that. But I wouldn't say I've replaced alcohol with food. I wouldn't say that, because I think I'm so well hydrated from all the water that I drink that I don't think I'm that hungry anyway. Did your friendships shift? I'm gonna be honest, they didn't. I think it's down to the friends that I have. They're very loyal, they're very supportive. They haven't stopped inviting me out to things because, yeah, I don't think they have shifted. And if they did, then that's a natural progression anyway. I don't think that's a problem. I think our friendship groups shift and evolve, drift and come back together all the time, regardless of whether I drink alcohol or not. So yeah, I don't think that's an issue, even if they were to. Do you miss the idea of being drunk? Sometimes I do, you know, when you get silly and you can just go on to topics that maybe you wouldn't talk about when you were sober and things like that, but I wouldn't say I crave that drunk feeling, that disorientated, can't control my body feeling. I never really enjoyed that. How to cope with negative support? This is a difficult one. I totally get it, and I don't know if it's come with age. Like, I'm still very young, but I'm very good now. I've been trying it in kind of every area of my life of implementing boundaries and speaking my mind. So when someone's negative, that is a projection of them onto you. So you just kind of have to stand your ground, and I'm just very much like, well, this is something I'm trying. It may not be forever, but I'm really enjoying it. So you do you and I'll do me. And you not drinking does not take anything away from them. It doesn't, like, I don't understand why people are so negative about it. Like, if someone were to come to me and be like, oh, I'm not drinking, or I'm not doing this, or I'm not doing that, I'd be like, okay, yeah, go you, let me know how I can support that. I just don't see the need for negative people at all. And I think if you can go out and still have a good time without drinking, then what is the need? It saves money, like the amount of money I've saved. Because whenever I got drunk, I'd always be like, oh, shots for everyone. Shots are so expensive, especially in London. Are you joking? So for me, like, it's a win-win, and I don't understand why people are negative about it. Is that summer that you and Grace went out loads what made you stop drinking? So there was a summer, I think it was like 2018, where my friend Grace and I, we went to like Ibiza. I think we went to Ibiza twice. We did go to Ibiza twice. We went out loads, and that was one of the best summers of my life, so I don't regret my drinking days at all. But we're still going out nowadays and having the same laughs that we did. Like, I don't... that didn't stop me from drinking at all. Like, I absolutely loved that summer, and I carried on drinking for a whole other year afterwards. But yeah, I still think, like, if we were to go to Ibiza, we'd still have such a good time anyway. One of the best summers of my life. I can't wait till we're a bit older and we can share some of those stories when my family won't judge me. How to deal with drunk people. It depends where you are and what the drunk people are like. It can be a struggle when you're just not on the same wave as other people, but I kind of just keep my distance. If I'm in a bathroom, I kind of go back to the mindset of when I was drunk, how would I engage with this person? And you just kind of, you know what it's like in a girl's bathroom. Obviously I can't speak for guys, but you go in and you're like, oh my god, love your shoes, love your clothes, da 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 da. And yeah, I kind of just keep my distance. How to be confident to say you don't drink? Just say, oh, I don't drink. Like, just say it with your chest. Don't apologise for making a choice that is for you and your body. Like, say it with your chest. What do you do to relax? Oh my god, loads of things. Watch TV series, bake, eat, still have a mocktail. I never was a crack a glass of wine open kind of gal anyway, so in that situation I don't really know, but I could make a non-alcoholic gin and you still get that same pleasurable experience. You still get that same, like, cork pop sound. I never was really a drink to relax kind of person. Do you think you'll ever go back? So this is the last question, and I mean, never say never. You never know, I might get the sudden urge to want to have a drink. Like recently, I think the one thing I miss actually is espresso martinis. I loved those. And we went out, when did we go out? Lou and I went out for dinner, and I had a sip of his espresso martini, and that was lovely. And I really enjoyed the taste of that. So I'll never say never, but right now I'm really enjoying where I'm at. I'm really enjoying the nights out and the company that I'm keeping, so I'm just going to stick to it until otherwise, really. But I hope that's been helpful, and if you do have any other questions, please let me know in the comments below, because I always reply, and anyone that's curious about this topic, I really want to help. And there is an Instagram account called Sober Girls Society, and there's loads of information on there. I think they're even releasing a book which looks amazing, and I think anyone that is sober curious, try it out. Like, it's not a decision that you have to stick to forever. You can just be like, oh, I'm trying this out for a while, let's see how it goes, you know. But I hope this video has been helpful. Let me know if it has been, and like I said, if you have any other questions, you know where I am. But thank you so much for watching, and I will be back with another video very, very soon. Lots of love.